and Jennifer's title is I Pause to Remember to Act Accordingly. Let us welcome Jennifer.
Thank you, Madam Toast Leader. Fellow Toast Leaders, I present my speech, I pause to remember to act accordingly. Growing up in Lagos, I never had to worry about whether I belonged. I navigated with ease through the many cultures in which the city prides itself. I speak two Nigerian languages, Edo and Yoruba, and never have to worry about not being accepted anywhere in Nigeria. But I know that the experience is not the same for many Nigerians. As I speak, many people have been disenfranchised and isolated because of their ethnic background. So yes, like racism is in the US, in Nigeria, where I come from, tribalism and ethnocentrism are eating up the fabric of peace and development. Juxtaposing this narrative with my recent experience in the US is why every now and then I like to pause to remember and then act accordingly. Today, I will share with you two of the reasons why I pause. First, I pause to remember that in the US, where I am now raising a family and within the organization where I am fortuitous to work, I am first seen as a Black woman, not a Nigerian, not a Lagosian, two identities that I am most familiar with. I have had to unlearn many things to learn what it means to be a Black woman and how that influences other people's first impression, perception, and prescriptions. And trust me, I am still figuring it all out. But one big win for me has been learning how to talk. Because here in the US, I learned the hard way that no matter how intelligent or smart you are, if you lack assertiveness, you will not be heard. So over the years, I have learned to invest time and resources to unlearn the quiet as a dove nature that is most often the nature of Africans, especially those from the West African region. I have learned to teach myself to roar like a lion and learning to speak so that I can be heard. As a matter of fact, a colleague offered to help me once, so she took me to a stage actress. The stage actress was very generous with tips on how to become a better speaker. Read aloud in front of the mirror every day, she said. Get comfortable hearing your own voice. If you are too quiet in meetings, nobody will perceive you as intelligent. You have to learn to practice, practice, and practice on how to speak slowly so that you can be heard. Now you see why being a member of Toastmasters International matters so much to me. I need to learn and master this skill so that I can survive and thrive. The second reason why I pause to remember is that while some people may harbor certain biases because I am a Black woman, I too have many unconscious biases towards others. Thanks to the new research and findings on diversity, equity, and inclusion, it is now easy to identify what these traits and habits are. As much as I can, I self-check and self-regulate. For example, I have learned not to favor people who look like me over others. I've also learned to kindly hold the door open for the person coming behind me, even if the person is a man and who is capable of pulling the door open for himself. I've also learned not to assume that everyone who attended an Ivy League college has more intellectual stamina than others. And I can go on and on the things I am learning to unlearn to relearn. The fact that I cannot control how other people perceive me does not mean that I cannot control the impact that I have on them. What I am learning is that by practicing racial equity as a Black woman within the complex society that we live in, I can transform how I relate with others, irrespective of who they are and where they come from, and in turn make a positive impact in the world. In my daily interactions and in my workplace as a communications professional, I try to keep the heat on by actively supporting constructive conversations about race, diversity, equity, inclusion, accessibility, and belonging. In conclusion, fellow Toast leaders of the US Senate Toastmasters Club, it will take a collective effort to eliminate the actions and inactions that disempower and exclude many people from creating, contributing, and living their life to the fullest. As the world continues to shift and go through this cultural transformation brought by COVID-19 pandemic, it is indeed a fortuitous chance. And that is why today I invite you all to join me to practice the pause and remember to act accordingly. Thank you.
And we'll begin with Carol's evaluation of Jennifer's speech. Carol, take it away.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, guests, and especially Jennifer. When Jennifer joined our club, I was so excited because she's a journalist of 10 years. She has 5 years at the World Bank doing communications. And I thought, wow, she really has a lot going on. She is an expert in so many things. And I kept bugging her to schedule her icebreaker, and she finally did. And it more than surpassed my hopes and dreams for what she would be sharing with the club and about herself. So right from the start, her intro, timely, important topic, tribalism, ethnocentrism, diversity and inclusion, the vision of growing up in Nigeria and how that translates to being here in the United States, like really big, important topics right in the introduction. Moving into her body of the speech, she had a theme. She had a theme that she wove through the whole speech. That is a high-level skill that she shared in her icebreaker. Pause to remember and act accordingly. That was the theme of her speech. It was the message. It was the conclusion. Very complicated to build a speech around that. I've been a Toastmaster 10 years. I struggle with that. You did it right out of the bat. Congratulations. You had humor, and it didn't feel forced. You were just uncovering humor as you spoke, and that's how we want to do humor. And it just made us connect more with you. You had stories. You had an actress telling you to read out loud to your mirror. Amazing, like really visual, brought us to your trying to find your voice, be assertive, and belong to this country that you're now living in. And then your conclusion had the inspiration, the call to action, the reflection, and the theme. So just a very solid, high quality, high skilled icebreaker from you today. If you were going to give it again, a few things. I love your background, but you sort of disappear in it sometimes. So just watch out for that. Where your head was in the frame was perfect. You always want to have about your hand length above, so we're not, looking at your eyes. So that was good. Your eye contact went in and out at times, sometimes really at the camera, but other times you were reading. But the number one thing I'd have you do is pause. Pause to remember, act accordingly. Your theme was pausing and reflecting, but your talk was like, I'm going. I got what I got to say, and I'm just going. So pause. But great speech, more stories, and it's very clear that not just is your mantra, pause to remember and act accordingly, but your mantra also is, don't ever stop getting better. And you're starting at a high level, and we know you'll get better, and it's so fortuitous for us that you have joined U.S. Senate Toastmasters. Madam General Evaluator.